First remarks as the newly re-elected Labor leader, Kevin Rudd appealed to young Australians to become re-engaged with politics. To discuss if that will happen, I'm joined by Dominic Ofner. He is the President of Young Labor in New South Wales. Dominic Ofner, Kevin Rudd made a direct appeal to young voters. Do you think people will listen?
Well, I think that what I was really struck a chord with me was in Kevin Rudd's first press conference following the leadership ballot. Were two things that he said. Firstly, that the Australian people had had enough of the negativity that has been dominating political debate in this country for a number of years, and secondly, the direct appeal to young people. I think that that's something that will resonate with young people, especially the people that I've been speaking with.
So what are young voters actually looking for?
They want a contest about ideas. They want our politicians to be talking about the issues that matter, and what was really impressive was Kevin Rudd spoke about the sorts of challenges that are facing our country. What are we going to do post the Chinese resources demand for our resources? I think it's also really important, particularly from the point of view of young progressive people, is that the legacy of the Gillard Labor government is incredibly impressive. We're looking at policies like the NDIS, Gonski and the carbon price, and it would be remiss of me not to acknowledge those great policies. And
but you don't think, despite all of those achievements, do you think particularly young women in particular might, look at the tearing down of Australia's first female Prime Minister and be totally turned off?
Well, I think the legacy of Julie Gillard, and the fact that she was the first female Prime Minister, will endure, and will endure for many years to come. And she's exactly right when she said that she's made it that little bit easier for the next woman to come along, or the next woman Prime Minister to come after that. And I think that it will live on, but it's also important that we recognise the party's bigger than the individual. There's so much at stake. There's so much at stake for young people in this election, and we've got to do everything that we can, regardless of what we think about the question of the Labor leadership. We've got to come together as a movement, particularly young people in the movement, and work together to defeat Tony Abbott, because there's so much at stake.
Do you think this change of leader might actually help the party? All those volunteers that go out and door knock and man polling booths, for example?
I think there has been, in speaking with young people in the last 24 hours, that extra element of hope. There is that real belief that we can win this election. Tony Abbott definitely is beatable, but the single motivating factor is the fact that there is so much at stake for us, whether it's action on climate change, support for schools, the price on carbon. There is so much at stake, and we're going to be doing everything that we can between now and election day to make sure that the Labor government is re-elected and that Tony Abbott is defeated, because young people just cannot afford an Abbott government.
Dominic Ofner, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks very much. Thank you.